Welcome back to the High Speed Garage. Thanks to Contrast Printing and Riverstone Radios for keeping this garage open. How you going, boys? Trying to fuck up the intro?
It's going to be a little bit of a Easter egg each time.
Don't blame us. You're in control.
You're letting loose on the control, that's for sure.
I didn't get up to too much this week. I did actually test my boat on the weekend. Finally. Went okay.
I'm the one dragging the chain now.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't
Potential.
shit either. It wasn't shit either. So, and I was doing some weird shit that no one else was doing, so I was never expecting it to be, 100%.
There's potential there,
But we'll get there.
I reckon the boat's got a lot of potential. I reckon it'll be good. It's different. You'll probably have a bit of work to do on it once you start going real fast, but I still think that there's some pretty cool shit underneath it that should help.
Lots of people have told me that it's no good. But
yeah, but I've been run heaps of times.
That makes me want to do it more.
Yeah. And I'm keen to see what it does. Hey, you've got the blueprint in the bottom line. You can steal if you want, but at the moment, I reckon be different. And
mine is if it's a fair. When you see them both upside down, you'll see how different mine is compared to yours.
Yeah.
And there is some issues there, which I know, and I can fix them, but
Bog can fix heaps of shit.
Maybe more than Bog.
I wanted to sort the cornering out a little better, and then once I get an idea of what I want to do to the boat to help the cornering out, then I'll fix the other stuff that I know needs fixing.
Attempt to change.
Yeah, well, I know what'll fix it to make it sit up nice. So that's easy part. It's just a bit of a job to do it. But when I work out what I want to do for the cornering wise, I need to do some laps in the thing so I can do 20 corners before I make an actual decision of what I want to cut off.
Yeah.
It's easy to add shit on. I mean, it's easy to cut shit off, but it's hard to add shit on. So I don't want to cut too many things off and then go, shit, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Would have liked that.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it went okay. I won't put up any videos or anything because fuck yous. You can all fucking find out when it's finished.
There's only about 20 boats testing. It was a bit of a small club day.
Yeah, there's a few people that seen it. But yeah.
They don't really count anyway. They're all newbies.
Just freshies.
Yeah. Outboard wankers.
Who?
Yeah.
I heard today too, as we were recording, Unfinished Business finally got on the water.
We need the applause button for that.
It's
I don't know which
it's
one
done a
that
couple laps. They tried to have a bit of a go on Sunday and couldn't get the engine to run nicely. It's all been a bit of a rush for them, I think. So they mucked around with it for a couple of days and got on the water and finally got 3 laps in. So you'll probably see that boat at Laidley, I suppose.
That is bloody good to hear. Ian and Debbie they've been spending a fair bit of time. Oh, I know Ian has. I think Deb's probably been looking after the house and Ian's been looking after the shed. But yeah, there's been a fair bit of work going on down there, and it's good to see it going.
Yeah, spent a bit of time on the dyno and stuff too, so should be all sweet. And speaking of Laidley, hope you all enjoyed the guest episode this week of Stuart Arthey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly did. That was a really good chat.
If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen there because it is a pretty good one. And yeah, that's pretty much my weekend.
Yeah, no, I had bugger all going on. Me and Breton had a bit of a go at the boat. We sort of set a couple of things up and bolted a couple of things in. There wasn't a whole heap going on, but the only other shit that went on is I found out how to fix a thermostat or replace a thermostat in a hot water tank.
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I couldn't work out why the bloody hot water wasn't working. So yeah, I learnt that. Apart from that, enjoyed Stewie's chat.
You're better than me.
Oh, really? You get someone else to do it?
I wouldn't have worked that shit out. I would have spent Braden.
Yeah. No, I got my little brother to give me a hand to test it.
Yeah.
And then that was on Saturday afternoon. And then Matt went and picked up the part because he was able to get it during work hours. I wasn't able to get back there.
Yeah, so he's a plumber.
No, my brother Matt just picked it up because he was able to.
Yeah, but your little brother
No, Jordan's a Sparky.
Oh, okay.
So the thermostat's just an electrical switch.
Yeah. So he sort of
righto.
knows his way around it anyway.
Yeah. He just did some testing with me, and we worked out its thermostat. Couldn't find one on Saturday, and then Matt picked one up on Monday afternoon, and then I just sort of thumbed my way around and worked it out. Got a couple of zaps, but that's all right. They weren't big. It was just a couple of tingles through the thumb. I was like, yeah, well, there's power there.
Have you ever been zapped with high power?
I've been pretty lucky. I did all the lights across the front of the house, all the downlight. Actually, the whole house. It just had a couple of those bayonets on each corner, and I went through and replaced all them with downlights. Changes the complete look of the house.
Yeah.
And when I did it, I always just flick the lights off, and then I do it live, and do your connections.
Fuck that.
But do it one wire at a time, right? One wire at a time, and it was working mint. And then I checked it after each light, and then one light just did it all, and then I flicked the switch on, and it's like, oh, it didn't work. Went around the RCD, it had flicked. I fucking didn't even know. Like, I did not even feel that it had flicked.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
yeah, like...
That.
Have you ever been zapped with big power, Joe?
No.
It's pretty tame. Like, you've got to have, like, your 3 wires out at the same time. That's a fuck up. Like, I would never do that shit. But one wire at a time, yeah, I'm all right with that.
I'll tell you, I got...
Don't forget, I'm not real smart either, so I do dumb shit.
When I was a kid, I would have been like 10 or something. I got zapped with 240 pretty good. I wasn't one of those weirdos that stuck forks into the PowerPoint though. But I thought I was some fucking electronic engineer when I was fucking 10, and my DVD player in my bedroom stopped working. So I thought, oh, I'll just pull this apart and sort it out. So I
pulled it apart.
I took it out to the
plugged
back.
In.
Took it out. No, I took it out to the back room. That was all unplugged and shit. Took it out to the back room, pulled it all apart. Went, yeah, that all looks fucking sick. I don't know what I'm looking at. And I thought, easiest thing to do is just check for power. So I plugged it in, and I thought, first place to start, I just went to the old man's toolbox and got his test light out. First place to check for power is the 240 where it goes into the machine.
Yep.
It's all on, powered up, touched it with the fucking 12-volt test light, fucking boom, threw me off the fucking chair. Scared fuck out of me. I ripped the thing out of the PowerPoint and threw it in the bin.
Yeah, I wouldn't do
gold.
anything like that. No, I only play one wire at a time, keep everything else isolated.
My old man got done with 11,000.
Oh, what?
Yeah, with a machine.
Christ.
Dug into it and then sat the bucket on top, went to grease it and plugged the grease gun in.
Oh, shit. That'd friggin' hurt.
I don't know if I was born yet or just born. Yeah, but
Are you the youngest?
No, oldest.
You're the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it still works.
Yeah.
I don't really know how like power and shit all fucking works.
Smoke and mirrors.
But I can remember with
There's lots of smoke.
at school, did you ever do the thing in science where they have the big rubber band making the static electricity?
And you touch it. And,
you connect all the kids in the classroom and all their hair starts fucking cruising up and shit. Yeah, they reckon that was around 10,000 volts. But it's like it must be a different type of electricity.
No amps,
something like that.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny because I was one of those little fuckwits that just wanted to break the chain to zap guns. It's funny when you're not on the end.
Yeah,
because when you're not on the end, it goes through you, but it's nowhere near as violent as the end person.
I remember years,
and you know when you're about to do it because the guy that's got his hand out the front of the thing, when his hair's like starting to fly around, that's when you know we're charged. So let's snap out.
Now it's go time.
I remember years ago one Christmas I bought James, he would have only been fucking 10 probably, the same. I bought him like he needed a toolbox for whatever reason, so we got that for Christmas and had a test light in it.
Oh yeah.
And we explained to him, it said, this is for 12 volt only. Do not stick it in a PowerPoint. You can only test cars.
That's where I failed. I've learnt though. I learnt now. If
you
I want
didn't fail. You learnt.
If I want to test 240, I need a multimeter, not a test light.
And you got to have a multimeter on the right setting.
No, I actually went and got one of those. I can't remember. I think it's current tester. It's just the pen, and then you go up and
glows red or whatever. Yeah.
So you always check it on a good PowerPoint or whatever like that. Yep, that's got power. Go over and you got, there's no power here. Sweet, we're good to go.
I have a good brother-in-law now that's an electrician, so anything power related. Matt, can you come sort me out?
Yeah, no, I didn't die, and that was a few years ago that I did the lights, and they're still working slick. So
I change stuff like around here and that PowerPoints and whatever. Yeah. Put a light in, but I flick every single fuse off.
I used to do that.
Doesn't matter what it is.
The fucking main switch, bang, gone.
The whole house is completely off. It doesn't matter what I'm touching.
I can remember when I had at my old place. I think one of the phases so I still had 3 phases at the old place, and one of the phases from the street had shit itself, and I had no idea what I was doing. And my father-in-law was also an electrician, so I rang him, and he's telling me, get your multimeter out, stick it into this part of the fucking circuit board box thing. I'm going, fuck that! I don't want to touch that shit. It's gonna kill me. Because it fucking won't. I don't want to. I end up ringing Tom Carl. He come around and fucking said, "Yeah, your thing up there's fucked. I'll put a new one on."
The old spicy wires.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not touching none of that shit. You can't see it. Who the fuck wants to fuck around with something that can kill you and you can't see it? Yeah. I'd rather go swimming with sharks.
At least you can see what's going to eat you.
No, well, the one you don't see is the one that eats you. But
exactly.
So it's the same as power.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but at least you can try to see them.
Or you're about to get eaten.
Yeah. You're in the water with sharks. Keep your fucking eyes out.
Yeah.
I keep my eyes out on the wires.
yeah. That would be like going swimming with sharks blind.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll get a bit into some sport, eh?
Meh, fucking meow.
Rightio. So a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I don't follow NASCAR, but
you're a liar.
I am a liar. I don't follow. I follow SVG when I can. Yeah. I don't follow NASCAR religiously because when the person you want to see succeed is still learning right up the back, it's a pretty hard watch. Like I watched a fair few at the start of the year, but yeah, it's a hard watch doing the ovals, and he's like nowhere, right? He is learning, like he's going better than he has been at the start of the year, so it is going to get better. But when SVG gets on a straight track, you know that he's gonna be at least competitive.
Yeah.
Right. So over the weekend, on Monday, on Saturday they qualified. Of course, SVG put it on pole. They raced on the Mexico F1 track. So if you guys have seen any of the videos from that, it's where they actually race through the stadium, like the footy stadium, and then back out again. Like that's where the pits are and everything. Like it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, okay.
And so he put it on pole. His teammate won the Xfinity race, Daniel Suarez, he's a Mexican as well. So he was racing in his home race and got the chocolates in the Xfinity race. But in the NASCAR Cup race, SVG, he was awesome. It was raining, all that sort of shit. Like everything that comes back to what he was doing at home in the supercar racing, it was all there for him.
They mustn't have track limits either.
Nowhere near. They were getting curb strikes, but nowhere near like what we're used to over here. And I reckon it looks better. Like it's cooler racing because they're taking these big wide corners, wide open throttle, and keeping the speed up as they come around the corner.
Yeah, that third corner, I watched highlights of there was the start or the restart or whatever, and Gizzy must have been the start because he come off pole, and he come around turn 1, turn 2, and then for turn 3 he only just squeezed it back in for the left-hander. Yeah,
he goes real wide.
Yeah, and it's getting back around. I was like, fuck, you did it right there.
Well, I remember back when what was his name? Devil racer, Marcus Ambrose. When he was racing over there, that race that he had at Watkins Glen in the DeWalt car, in the Stanley DeWalt car, and he's racing against all the racers over there at the time, and he's wide out right out away from the racetrack, wide open throttle, and it's cool racing.
Yeah.
Like things sideways, spraying shit all over the place. But yeah, so SVG's biggest competitor was Ty Gibbs. He was in the Monster Camry. He was the only one that got really close. Suarez, who was his teammate in the, he's the Mexican. He was back in 10th or something like that. He had a bit of a struggle. Larson ended up getting torched in one of the restarts it wasn't a restart, but it was a real wet part of the race, and someone backed it in and skittled him across the track.
Yeah,
like what happened to him in Chicago. Yeah,
4 or 5 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was pretty shit. But Larson ended up going out. They got his car fixed, and he went out in there and got the fastest race time or lap time. SVG just led. I didn't lead. He was up the front the whole day. He just chased Ty Gibbs around for a fair bit of the race. Everyone was saying that he was struggling because he wasn't trying to get in front and lead the race. But as we've seen him do over here, he just stalks, keeps staying behind the leader,
fresh,
lets them destroy their tyres, run out of fuel, and then Ty Gibbs pulled off, and he just kept on cruising the same speed as he was going.
Yeah,
looked after everything, and then in the end, he won the second stage. As he went over the finish line, or the start finish line for the second stage win, they bring everything under safety car to start the third stage. So they run the race in 3 stages. It sounded like he turned the car off. Like he just put it in ghost gear and just coasted until he could catch up to the safety car.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he ended up...
That's to save fuel and whatever.
Oh, yeah, he was saving as much as he could, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone else was racing to try and catch up to him, and he was just controlling the race. Ended up finishing the race 15 seconds in front of the next bloke.
Yeah, right.
That's just dominance, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Like, that's the biggest margin they've had for a long time. I can't remember how long. It was bloody.
They were telling him to slow down or something too, apparently.
Yeah. So that over the radio, they were telling Shane to slow down, and Shane was telling him to shut up.
Yeah,
like his team.
Yeah, the team was telling him to slow down. He doesn't need to go fast. And he's like, if I go slow, I'm making mistakes. Like he's actually making mistakes.
Yeah.
So he just said, shut up, and I'm just going to finish the race. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
But they're saying, oh, you don't need to push. But he knew that
I'm not pushing. I'm driving sensibly.
Yeah, that's right, and that's what he said. So yeah, he dominated it. And they were blown away. They just can't believe how good he is on a straight track.
How many wins did Ambrose end up with?
Not many. Probably handful.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he did get a couple.
He got a couple.
Yeah. There was 1 or 2 in the NASCAR Cup, and then a couple in the truck series. And
yeah,
I
just mean the Cup series.
In the Cup series, I know he got 2, but I can't remember if there's any more. So yeah, that was Mexico. They go on to Pocono next week, which is a triangle. I might give it a crack. I don't watch it. I just have it sitting in the radio in the background. But Pocono's a triangle, so that might be a little bit more interesting than an oval.
You got to watch an oval. You can't listen to it.
Yeah, I know, but I can't sit there and I've got to work.
Yeah.
I can't be sitting there looking at my phone. A lot of people say that I actually do look at my phone, but I'm mostly just changing shit I'm listening to.
I'd love to watch all this stuff, but I just don't have enough time to sit there and watch the TV.
Yeah, so I can't watch it. I can only have it in my ears.
Yeah.
Or play it on the bloody Bluetooth speaker in the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't I wouldn't have a job if I was watching my phone all day.
Yeah, I even mean like watching replays and stuff like after the fact.
Yep.
You know, watching it on Foxtel or whatever you got recorded. Just finding time in an afternoon or whatever to watch it, or I just don't have it.
Yeah, you got to try and remember.
You got to make yourself have time. That's
yeah, when you get inside after being in the shed, you've got to sort of have a bit of time to sit down with the missus and watch a bit. Like usually the kids are keen as shit to watch car racing with me.
Yeah.
Probably because that's what I like doing. But like Sunday morning, I was watching the NASCAR qualifying and the IndyCar qualifying, and the kids saw that I had car racing up on the telly. They were stoked. They jumped in bed and watching it with me.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Yeah, so you just gotta put whatever you want on the telly, and the kids will most likely be pretty keen on it anyway.
I just can't sit there and watch the TV. I think if I'm sitting there watching the TV, I can get up, go outside, I can do a bit of work, I can do this, I can mow the lawn, I can do some work on my boat, there's lots of other things I could be doing other than watching TV. That's why I don't really get a chance to watch it. I've got to sort of force myself to sit down to watch the MotoGP.
Yeah, I don't really force myself to sit down and watch telly. Like, I do enjoy it, but I always have that in the back of my mind as well. I shouldn't be sitting down. I should be out in the shed. That's why I put a second-hand telly up in the shed. I was given an old one, and
I need to do that. I
put
need
it
to
up in
get
the
a TV
shed
for the shed because it'd make life so much easier.
Yeah, so I'm used to having things in the background. Like, if a race is in the background, I'll keep working, and then you can keep it there.
Yep.
So over in St. Louis in America, Penske was they were in a really good spot. Scotty and Will Power on the front row. Newgarden qualified about 5th, I think, like that. Anyway, so Will Power was leading, then he fell back a little bit, and then ended up having a tyre failure, hit the wall, so he was first one out. These are Penske cars. Joseph Newgarden was he worked his way to the front. He coming around some back markers.
He ended up on his lid? Is that?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he was coming around some back markers, and a bloke, black and green car. I know the bloke's name, but I can't remember.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, so he's hit the outside wall.
Yeah.
And then it's darted backwards across to the pit lane wall.
Yeah.
And perfect timing for Newgarden to come up and smack him.
Just
and he's
tipped him straight upside down.
big endo and straight on his lid, like carbon fibre and shit all over the place.
The bit that I seen was the onboard from Newgarden's
Oh,
car.
it's wild to watch.
And he's seen it happening, and you hear it lift off the throttle, but he steers to the inside of the track.
Yep.
Where old mate's like heading.
Yeah.
They're doing big speed on those ovals.
Well, the reason he went inside, I'm going to assume, is because the car in front of him went to the outside.
Yep.
And he was like really close to that guy, so he sort of that guy went that way, and then Newgarden went down there, and he's like, fuck, I can't go nowhere, and just went bang, and then you see it flip over.
Oh, it was big stack. So then that put Newgarden out, and then Scotty fell back to 5th. He was struggling. He was up the front, and then he ended up getting a penalty coming out of the pits. He nearly hit David Malukas. David Malukas was leading, so then they both got pulled back to about 4th and 5th. Kyle Kirkwood ended up winning, but Scotty ended up he probably 20 laps from the finish or something like that. Like, it was pretty late. He was out. He obviously hit the wall at one stage or another and broke a control arm, and he went into the pits and he was done. Kyle Kirkwood ended up winning. That makes it so him and Palou are still the only two drivers to win this year in the IndyCar Series.
Yeah, right. That's pretty good, eh?
There was about 10 different drivers that were leading the race through the day, and it still come down to Kirkwood. Like, he's driving really well, but Palou was he got so many wins at the start of the year, even to he missed out on.
Still a long way to go, but
yeah, he missed out on Long Beach, Indy 500, and Detroit, then St. Louis. So that's Kirkwood's got 4. Palou got the rest.
Yep.
Look, it's good to see Kirkwood winning, but Palou's gone on a runaway train. F1 in Canadian Grand Prix. George Russell led Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli to the checkered flag. Piastri, he finished in 4th, but earlier on in the race, Piastri's teammate Lando Norris tried to pass him.
It was on the outside.
Coming into one of the corners.
On the grass.
Yeah, he kicking up shit in the grass.
Doing his lawnmower and stuff again.
Yep, ran up the arse of Piastri's left rear tyre and tore the front wing off it, and he was done for the day.
At least he admitted to that fuck up though.
You see,
Yeah.
Jacques Villeneuve was saying that it was Piastri's fault.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Dickhead. Anyway, whatever. So in the Le Mans 24-hour, that makes it 3 in a row for Ferrari at Le Mans the past 3 years. 2 Ferraris on the podium. None of them are factory teams. They're just factory supported. I can't remember what the mob was called, but they're not the factory teams fell out shit earlier on.
Yeah, right.
One of the last ones I think spun pretty close to the end. Aussie Matty Campbell, he was in the Penske Porsche. He come in second, which was pretty cool to see.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask how he went.
Yeah,
I don't really know much about all that stuff, but I know. Well, I don't know him, but I've heard of Matt Campbell a fair bit.
yeah, he did a lot of he did a lot of the World Endurance sort of championship stuff.
Yeah.
Matty Campbell.
They're not related to the Donald, like the speed record dude.
Oh, I would not have the slightest clue.
Nah, I don't think so.
But
I thought from being over that way, that was all.
Campbell's he's done a couple of Bathursts with. I think he did a couple with SVG and someone else. And Kevin Estray. I think Kevin Estray did a couple of racing over here as well. Kevin was part of the Supercars racing as well. I think he's done a couple of Enduros. So anyway, a couple of people with some Aussie pedigree.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild race. There's a fair bit going on. And the Mustangs, I heard the Mustangs were pretty good as well.
Yeah, okay.
They had a big Mustang Cup.
What do you know much about the rules and stuff for Le
I
Mans?
don't follow it that much. I enjoy listening to it in the background when it's on in the shed and stuff like that, but I don't really know. There's a fair bit of coin in the cars. You can tell that.
Yeah.
He's done heaps, that Matty Campbell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was
he's
just
done
saying,
lots of
like he's done a couple of Bathursts and stuff as well.
Yeah,
But
it's 15, 16. Let me see here. Keep going on. I'm just trying to find it. That's too hard to look up. But yeah, 15, 16 in his bio.
Yeah.
His Supercars, Carrera Cup 14, Australian GT, Porsche, Australian Ford, Queensland Formula Ford.
yeah, he's done a lot of racing with Porsches.
Yeah, he's done heaps. Yeah, it's not a bad career, that.
Yeah. No, and then to jump on the podium at Le Mans in a Penske car,
Yeah.
that's something to be pretty cool too.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Anyway.
anything that races for 24 hours is like... doesn't
It's-
matter. Just to finish that shit, you're a cool cunt.
It was before my
Yeah.
time when the Bathurst 24 was on, but there's still so many stories coming out of that with those Monaros. That's such a so many cool stories out of that.
Yeah.
That the movie Ford vs Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good to have a look in. How
I
true
enjoyed
it
that.
is
Yeah, I had nothing. I thought
with
you were talking about the Monaros.
the 24 hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I really enjoyed that movie.
Mm.
That come out. Shit, that came out bloody 2020 or
So-
something, didn't it?
Oh, I don't even know. Yeah, something like that.
Talking about movies, what do you think about the new F1 movie?
I'm
that's
keen
coming
as
out?
shit to watch that.
Yeah, I'll watch it just because of what it is, but
It's a movie. It's not going to be the same as the
Yeah, but
racing
it's
career, but
like you could make something that's like, based on a true story, based on, I don't know, even if it's someone new now, where they're up to now, like,
Yeah.
Hamilton or something like that.
yeah, but
but
that's a
just
documentary then.
No, it
The
doesn't have to be a
movie's all
documentary.
about like it's just a
But they make
No,
movies that
believe.
are based on true stories that are just dramatized. At least you like what's the other Formula One?
The center one.
Yeah, Senna.
that was a good movie too.
Yeah, like that's a movie, but it's sort of based around
Plus,
what happened in real
plus
life. Yeah,
the
this
other
That's true.
this one's just full fake.
Hunt's
Well,
one. Hunt and
That was Rush, wasn't
Rush. That's
Yeah,
it,
Rush. That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
it? No, good couple of movies.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's not a bad weekend for sport, really.
Yeah, there was a fair bit going on.
Shitloads.
This weekend, St George's got their.
They've got I think it's the juniors.
Is it the juniors in the 550 championship? I
Something
think
like
it's
that. Yeah.
the final round. Yeah.
So
Right. So if anyone wants to have a beer, head over to St George. They've got some very cold beer on the tap, And
They
you
got
can watch some good racing there.
Nice seafood platters
Awesome
too.
seafood platters there.
I'll go and check it out on Saturday night.
Have
Copy
a seafood
that.
platter.
I think it's all catered. The presentation
You
night.
can still go and have one
Yeah, you can still buy
Probably
one.
could, yeah.
for lunch.
Oh, won't be there that early.
Well, you should
Got to
be.
recover from Friday first.
Yeah, you should be there early. Just get on the piss fucking all day.
Reese is driving, so we'll see what happens.
That's not your problem. Drivers
7
with
a.m.
your issue, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll get into some guest questions.
Just before you get into questions, I've got a little bit of a rant. Some people probably aren't going to like it, and I don't know how official this all actually is yet. But anyway, I'll rant, and I'll get to what I know, and then when I find out more later, I can tee right off maybe next week. So,
Or you'll get a fair few complaints this week. We don't know.
well, if I get complaints, I'll definitely be going further. So, as we know, Adelaide got cancelled.
Postponed.
Well, yeah. Well,
it can't be cancelled because
it hasn't. You can't call it postponed because their new date that they've applied for is in next season. So that's not postponed. They've cancelled a race meeting. It's due to bad weather and whatnot. But anyway, it's got cancelled. They were supposed to run an Australasian Championship in the Marge Watson. Now, because that meeting didn't get run, and they can't run it again before the end of the season, the Dargle Club from New South Wales has applied to run that this season because they still have a meeting to run in August. Mm-hmm. And they said, if South Australia can't get it run in this season, we'd be more than happy to get it run this season, and then it can go back to them, for whenever they want to run it next. So anyway, they sent the letter off to National, and from what I've heard so far, it's come back that no, they won't let that happen. And it's got me stuffed why they won't let that happen. They'd rather not have that race run this year than send it somewhere else. And to me, that's a fucking joke.
I would hope that that's not the case, but you're sort of, without information, like that's sort of what it looks like.
So the way it gets handed out, right? It gets handed to, from the National APBA, the trophies get handed to a state council. They don't get handed to the club. So the club applies for it, but when the trophies get given, or the races get given, they get given to the state council. So the Marge Watson would have been given to not Adelaide's B-Boat Club, it was given to the South Australian Council, which, that's for 3 years because the Marge Watson has a 3-year deal with it. So when that gets cancelled, the option is South Australia still have control of that because it was given to South Australia. So they can run it anywhere else. It doesn't have to be run at Adelaide. It can be run anywhere else in South Australia. It's up to South Australia to give that up. This is what the National Minutes said that I read just the other day. So there's no actual formal decision saying that Dargle can't have it in those minutes. But from what I've heard from other people,
are the minutes public knowledge?
You'd have to ask.
You could get them. They'd be at you if you asked your club for them. You could get them.
Just got to make sure
you ask.
Not putting information out.
No. Well, I get them because I'm still sort of technically part of the national. I'm not part of the board. I'm just I don't know what you'd call it. Anyway,
shit kicker in the background.
Yeah, shit kicker in the background. But I don't know. Well, so if South Australia don't want to give that up to Dargle, I can see absolutely no reason to not let that happen.
Especially when they're not getting it forever. It's just one. Let's just run it this year.
It's just we could just get it run this year, so it doesn't miss out a year.
So it happened, yeah.
And the other thing, which the minutes aren't very clear on, so like I said, they get awarded for 3 years. So technically, this year that's been missed should still count as one.
Yeah,
because you haven't had
it. It's not our fault that the weather's bad and you won't let it run anywhere else. So that should still count as a year for you having it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there now.
Yeah. If your race meeting was say in August and it got cancelled and whatever, it couldn't be run again because there's no other race meetings on anywhere in the country, I'd probably cop it and let you have a bit of leeway and not get it. But I still don't really care. If it's bad weather, it's bad weather. Anyone can have bad weather, and you've just got to cop that on the chin, and that's one of your years that you've had it for. Anyway, that's me a little bit of a rant. I'll find out more and let you know later.
Yeah, hopefully more comes through and there's a good explanation for it.
Yeah, well, if someone has an explanation, ring me.
Up.
You'll get me number. You know me number. You'll find it out. It's not hard.
It is 04.
Or just fucking send an email through to here and explain it. Or better still,
Give us a heads up.
do a voice recording and we'll play it. And if I still don't like your voice recording, I'll still roast you.
But you will be played.
100%.
What do you think?
I'd like to see it run.
It should go to somewhere else that can run it. If you can't run it in your state, it'd be passed on to the next person to run it for that year.
But
If there's an opportunity to run it, someone wants to put their hand up to run it for that year, I see absolutely no reason you should turn around and go, nah.
Well, the thought that I had when you were saying that South Australia board has the Marge and then the club says, I want to run it. If it is stuck under the South Australian board for this season, I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying if it is, that would mean that realistically, I know it's hard to turn something around real quick, but we're talking about a race meeting that was from
May.
April, so it was May.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
Mid-May.
would it be that if it's stuck in South Australia, you would be able to say have Adelaide Speedboat Club run it at Berry?
Yes.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. So realistically, they could have run an event at Berry, run the Darwin, run the Marge.
So when
would have been a pretty good event. Really.
when South Australia got given the trophy, they can give it to whoever the hell they want. They give it to Adelaide. If Adelaide can't run it, South Australia can still give it to any other club they want,
Any club
regardless whether it's in that state or it's not in that state. But as soon as they give it to another state, well, then that state takes control of it
for that year.
Yeah,
Well,
which there's bugger all of this year left anyway.
Yeah, one off.
And Dargle's going to be like the last weekend of the season anyway. So if it gets called off at Dargle, then it doesn't get run for the season.
That's the last day of the season.
But why? It's for the life of me, I can't understand why you would opt to not have an Australasian trophy run.
Yeah.
When there's an option there to have it done.
It'd be awesome to see.
I reckon that's part of the problem.
But it's awesome. It's awesome at Adelaide.
Yeah, but
if Adelaide can't run it,
I think they probably understand that it probably will be really awesome at Dargle because Adelaide's had a stronghold on that trophy for a long time now.
It's been there for ages.
Oh, it'd be 15 plus years.
Oh, that long?
Not 15, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I suppose when I first went.
I reckon the
13,
first one would have been 12 or 13.
It was there when I went down. Me and you went down with Banks in 13.
Yeah.
It was there then.
It's been there for a long time.
Wow.
And you know, I'm not knocking anybody here, but Dave Clark, the Commodore of the Adelaide Speedboat Club, is part of the national board, and I find it. I don't reckon a lot of people would want to vote against him when he's standing in the room. Now that's not Dave's fault, but people don't want to upset the apple cart because that guy's in the room here.
Well,
Yeah.
Dave's a bloody nice dude. Like that.
Well, I'm not disputing any of that.
I agree. It'd be hard to say no, but I wonder what the reasoning is for it though.
Well, there's a little bit of a reason in the minutes, but it's still not clear. And their reasoning is Dargle's already running. This is Nationals words, which, like they say in the minutes, they've got nothing to do with sending the trophy. It's up to South Australia. But their thoughts were Dargle are already trying to run 4 Australian championships. Adding a 5th one, would it really attract the best boats? And my response to that would be, who gives a fuck?
What do you mean by would it attract the best? Because it's going to. There's more races.
Yeah, well, I don't understand why it wouldn't. But let's just say it doesn't. Let's just say it doesn't attract the best boats. You're still getting it fucking run for the season rather than just missing out altogether.
And then on the trophy, it's a 25 not run.
Yeah. And half of those... Well, I wouldn't say half. So the 4 titles that Dargle are running, 2 of them are 6-litre Australian championships. 6 litres can also go in that Marge Watson trophy. So you're going to get a handful of 6 litres that'll do it too. The 2 6-litre trophies probably won't both get run because one of them's 6-litre open and one of them's carbureted. Now, there's no boats around that I'm aware of that can run in the carbureted class.
Really?
Because they don't run a pump fuel.
Oh, they run hot fuel.
Well, you have to now that you can't run avgas. So it's either detune your engine and go back to pump fuel, or run a race fuel. And everyone's just gone, okay, well, I'll just buy a race fuel that matches avgas. No one's changed their engine. They've just bought a race fuel. So, and technically you can't do that in 6-litre. So that carbureted class won't get run. So there's one trophy they can drop to start with. And the other ones, I'm not sure what they are. I think one's an outboard.
Yeah, Arch.
Yeah, the Arch Spooner would be one.
You don't reckon they'll run that?
Yeah, well, they'll run that, but it's outboards.
It's outboards. So.
And they got nothing to do with the Marge Watson. So, yeah, I really don't understand it. If anyone does understand it or, got some kind of reasoning, I'm happy to hear it.
Mm. Yeah. Anyways.
Get into the questions.
We'll get some more info on that as time rolls on. So we'll get into have a question from Daniel Schaefer again.
Oh, Omen. Jeez, he's strong on sending through questions.
This episode is brought to you by Riverstone Radiators and Fabrication in Walker Street, South Windsor, specialising in automotive plant and transport cooling solutions. They can repair copper, brass and alloy radiators and intercoolers. Contact the office on 02 9627 4657. Local pickup and delivery service available to trade customers.
All over it. So, hang on. We'll get into him here now. I just liked it. Whoops.
Hey lads, wanted to know your thoughts about flag positions and the amount of communication is acceptable over the radios. At Tyree, I struggled to see the flags to the shore. We've been in the cell and the flags are pretty high and you've got a neck restraint on and the glare off the windows when you're looking through it. I brought it up at the briefing about how I wouldn't mind the flags being in the course boats at the end of the straight where you can see pretty clearly. They did that for the Sunday, but just wonder if you think it should be sort of pretty mandatory. It is definitely harder to see out of the sailboat. And also what's acceptable for comms between the driver and spotter. I know they've laxed the rules a bit on talking. I'm all for more information so I know what's around me, especially when things are getting pretty tight. I'm keen to hear your thoughts.
On those flags, thanks, Omen. On those flags,
we'll split it up into a two-parter. We'll talk about the flags and then we'll talk about the radio.
I completely agree. I like at Windsor how at the end of each straight, you've got a flag in the boat saying green, red.
I've never seen the green, red one. I've seen the caution ones at the end.
I've definitely seen the green.
It's been a long time since I raced at Windsor, but too.
I haven't seen a flag the whole time I've raced.
But look, when you're going down that straight and you're looking to that corner and you've got boats beside you,
you're not looking sideways to a bank.
Exactly right. To take your eye off the race and look up on the bank is a bloody hard thing to do because there's all different coloured bloody marquees on the bank.
Different shirts. And
all that sort of shit. Yeah. Like you see, I think Windsor's doing pretty well now. I haven't been on the course since Windsor's brought it out, but they've got a plasma, like an LED, like a big screen TV, right?
Yep. And it discloses the colour.
One big colour.
Yeah.
I reckon that'd be good. I haven't seen it, of course.
I still don't like looking.
I'm still not looking up there. The best idea I've come is Melton and Yarra.
Like Omen said,
flashing lights
straight in front of the end of the track. And I don't know how many drivers' briefings I've been to. On the Saturday, no one says anything because they don't know. Every fucking Sunday, drivers' briefing, they say, "Oh, we can't see the flags. How about you put them at the end of the track?" And then, so they put them at the end of the track for that day, and then next year when you come back to that same race meeting, they're fucking not there again.
Yeah, and then a lot of the time I've heard the ODs say, "Look up at the flags."
It's an OD that's never raced a boat.
You're
before.
going fast and you're taking your eye off the race course. That there's shit going on all the time, And to go back up and have a look at the flags, I reckon it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, you got to do it, but it's a pain in the ass, and it should be done better.
Yeah, there's way better. Like
that Melton, what they do at Melton is awesome.
Yeah, with the flashing lights.
Yeah, I was watching IndyCar on the weekend, and the whole perimeter of the course, they've got, say, every 100 or 200 metres or whatever, a big, the big LED floodlights.
Yeah.
And they can either flash green or yellow, green or red or whatever colour they want.
I can tell you.
That's another idea.
From someone who's been disqualified from Australian Championship that I should have fucking won because I didn't see a red flag. Because the track that I was at is so wide, the flag was that far off the track. The boat that was stopped was that far off the track. I couldn't even see the boat. I didn't even know the boat had stopped. I thought he was still like sort of right behind me because it was a pretty quick boat. It should have probably been in front of me, to be honest. But I never seen it slow down and stop. And I'm just thinking, oh yeah, sweet, I'm still fucking winning. So I'm driving 10 tenths. I'm not fucking looking 90 degrees out to a fucking marina.
That's right. Yeah, the flags should be on the race course.
You got to flags. In all honesty, this day and age, flags are a joke. We should have something way better than flags.
Well, I remember
you still need flags, but you need better shit.
Yeah. I remember someone was making a little light that went up on the dashboard.
Well, a lot of years ago, I'm talking 20 years. No, I'm talking 20 years ago. Lenny Everingham, when Karua folded, they had a heap of money.
Yep.
And they were going to do the pro lights and some system, so they flicked a switch on in the tower, and your pro light come on for a red flag.
Yeah, that would have been good, but there's even better shit than that these days.
But that was 20 odd years ago. But
I was sitting in a national meeting where Rob Sala brung Pete Sweeney from Motec in to give us a little demo of the stuff that they have that they use in supercars, and man, that stuff was like, I don't know why we didn't just go, oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's use that. That's fucking awesome. To me, that was the best thing in boat racing since adding cockpits. It was so good. It wasn't funny.
Motec screen, did it?
No, you used your phone. It was just software. It was just the software, and there was a bit of a price tag on it, but that spread through everyone in the APBA. It would have been a small cost, and all you needed was your mobile phone. Yeah, okay, you might not want to use your everyday phone in case it gets wet or something in the boat, but you can go and buy a second-hand old cheap iPhone for fuck all these days.
From Coles or something like that for $100.
It just had to be a smartphone. That was all, and they took control of your phone before the race, and it just displayed the colours of flags and stuff that were out there. But the software, it was more beneficial for the clubs and stuff as well because they could see exactly where everyone was. If they put a phone in, if you have tractors and stuff that put boats and stuff in the water, like I know some places do have that, you can see exactly where every tractor driver is because they've got a thing on them. He showed us like a little video of what they were doing at Bathurst. And you could see every car on the track exactly where it was, exactly where each official was standing and whatever else. It was so good, and it just never happened. We never did anything with it.
Yeah, I know there's been a fair few people that have tried to get it off the ground, and every time someone says it, it just disappears.
And every single race meeting you go to and there's a red flag, there'll always be someone that drives longer than they should have.
Yeah. And
I'm guilty of that. I've done that.
Yeah, we've all seen it.
And still, nothing gets fixed. It stays the same. That's another joke. While I'm in a rant mood. But to the other half of Omen's question, the radios, if we all have radios, well then that becomes a shitload easier because you can radio to somebody that, what flag it is.
Yeah,
you've got one lap to go, or this guy on your outside, and
it should be a rule to have every sailboat.
Every sailboat definitely should have one, yeah.
Well, yeah.
It is a rule in the AFPG PGP series, yeah.
It's a bit more complicated than that because it's like having an air system. Everyone's got to have an air system. Doesn't mean it's got to work.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is if you've got someone on the radios, you've actually got to have someone watching the flags as well.
Yeah, well, it's obviously a lot better these days because you're allowed to say more stuff over your radio. There was a period there where you weren't allowed to say fuck all over the radio, and that was really dumb.
That was back when
you couldn't
Hawley and Waylo and Pugs all that racing.
A lot of hard racing, yeah. But on top of that, realistically, if the OD looks at someone's driving and says that they're driving badly, well, they get pinned anyway. Like,
yeah, that was my argument.
I
It doesn't
really
matter
think
what
that-
someone
it doesn't matter
tells me
what's
on a
been
radio.
said over the radio.
Yeah. You're still making the decision to do what you're doing on the racetrack.
That's right. But I really think that if someone's on the radio saying there's someone coming up the inside of you, isn't that safer? To let
100%.
the person know.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, you
The
don't
more-
have enough room to move, so stay where you are.
It doesn't matter
but
what
be
you
hard in the corner.
doesn't matter what you're talking about in life. The more information you have, the better your decision you can make.
That's right.
Doesn't matter. That's not just racing. That's anything in life. The more information you have, the better decision you can make.
Yeah.
So why rip people off of information from a radio guy?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any
Like
sense.
if you're driving badly and cutting someone off anyway, well, the OD should be pulling that up.
yeah, if
Don't worry about what's been said on the
regardless
radio.
whether your radio dude's telling you, oh, you've got 3 boat lengths, or you don't have 3 boat lengths, or whatever he says, you made the move. It's
Yeah.
on you, mate.
Yeah.
And if the OD says it's
And
bad, then it's
if
bad.
you've got a shit radio guy that's telling you shit that's going to get you in trouble, well, fucking sack him.
Plus, you got your mirrors so you can go, oh, yeah, hang on, I'll just have a quick look.
Well, yeah, some boats
If-
have mirrors.
Can you see
If
through
they
the
work.
mirrors?
I have mirrors because you have to have them, but mine point to the deck.
I've always got mine set right, and they're still shit. Mirrors
Yeah.
are just crap.
Yeah.
Unless they're huge, you're going too fast to notice what's going on anyway. Because most of the time you're just seeing, like if I use my mirrors, I'm just seeing the spray that my prop's putting up.
Yeah.
They're
Bit-
not in the right position then, are they?
Bit
No, like it's spraying everywhere at the back of you.
It's a bit of a tangent, but the best boat I drove with the best mirrors was Brent Lewis's decision.
Yeah, he's got big Falcon mirrors on
AU
the side.
Falcon
Yeah,
mirrors, and
That was
they're
on the
same as the Barra boat.
and they're still electric.
Yeah,
The electric
toggle
dial
switch.
is on
I
the
love
fucking
it.
dash.
That's so good.
So when I hopped in, Brent had them obviously adjusted for him. I hopped in, I just turned the dash and just used a little joystick and adjust it to me.
Oh, that's
If someone
awesome.
leans up to tell you something or whatever before a race and they accidentally bump it, you can just fix it up. All good.
Is that... Did he put that in the new boat?
I don't know. I haven't looked in the new boat.
No, neither. Is it still in Needry's boat?
If there'd be nitrous there, yeah.
Don't know. No, I
Right.
never paid that much
Shit,
attention.
you'd be silly to get rid of it, wouldn't you?
I
They
think
didn't look out of place really either.
no, they weren't. They definitely didn't look out of place. But I think they might have been. Well, they're obviously not built for racing, and they were rattling themselves apart because I
yeah.
do remember he did end up making stands for it. This is a lot later after I drove it. He made up little stands that went from the deck of the boat to the mirror to hold it like a little
right.
like a little rod.
Yeah.
So whether they were bending and breaking, it was ruining electronics inside or not, I don't know. But yeah, but when I did, it was a long time ago too. So
Yeah,
he'd
that
only
was a long
just sort of
time
started it.
I was thinking I could put like a big bus mirror on the deck of the boat to the right hand side.
No rules you can't.
Yeah, I was like, I reckon that like low, like a long one.
I
I
reckon
thought
that
that'd be pretty good. You could actually see if the engine's got an issue, like if you've got flames and shit or whatever.
the best thing is reverse cameras and a screen on my
Yeah.
dash.
Yeah, I like that idea too.
Just
I think you can actually do that in the Haltech that I've got. I'm pretty sure that I could actually like press a button and actually look behind me, like if I've got the camera set.
Oh, yeah, right.
yeah, that would be cool. Like even if you're running like a GoPro or something on top of your cockpit, and it looks
Yeah.
backwards, you can just have a little button you see, or you can just have a quick look
Yeah.
at what's there and go, oh, yeah,
That's getting a bit off his question anyway.
yeah,
but
well, it is, yeah.
But yeah, definitely should be able to have...
But it comes down to if you have radios, you probably don't need that shit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Which is what we're learning now with your new radios. is
Yeah, yeah.
Working where to put settings and volumes and whatnot. But
That's
yeah.
cool.
Oh, thanks, Omen, for the messages again.
Yep.
We had another one from Brenton Chesser.
That guy.
So, boys, I don't have an area. I don't have an alien story as such, but
Ooh, aliens.
this is the best I can do. It is an Area 51 story. So, Area 51, Roswell, New Mexico. They were building, in the Cold War, they were building a B-52 bomber, which was to go up against Russia. But America did not have the materials required that they needed to build the bomber. So, being that it was a stealth bomber, it needed a certain style of material to build it. America didn't have it. So they built a subsidiary company within America and bought the products and bought the materials off Russia. So basically, Russia supplied the materials that ultimately defeated them in the war. So, yeah, not a alien story, but still close enough.
Close. Brenton was actually telling me, when we were talking about that story, Brenton was actually telling me another part of that story where the Russians knew that some weird shit was going on over there, but couldn't work it out. And the bomber was being built outside on the tarmac.
Yeah.
And they could tell by radar that when the satellite camera was going over to take photos, so they would pull before that camera went over, they'd pull the plane in underneath the hangar.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So they couldn't see. But then the Russians got even trickier and took heat maps of the tarmac, and they could see
the
where
shape of where everyone had been walking
the sun
and
had,
shit.
they see where the
shadow.
sun had covered it.
Yeah, yeah.
So they could see from the shadow in the heat map. I reckon that sort of shit is awesome. Those sort of stories are sick.
Back then, that's crazy. Imagine what they're doing now.
Oh,
Yeah.
mental.
There's probably whole towns under the ocean.
I can almost guarantee there is.
That's
There's
getting
shit
a bit
in that
conspiracy theory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you guys
towns
see?
under the ocean?
Have you guys seen
Hang on,
the
let me go
Stockton
get my
Rush?
tinfoil hat.
Have you guys seen the Stockton Rush show yet? One
No.
about the dude that went down the tin can or the carbon can to go down and look at the Titanic.
Oh no, we were talking about that before we pressed record.
Yeah.
I've seen it on Netflix and I'm keen as to watch it, but I just haven't been in the mood to sit there and watch it.
I mustn't have heard you guys talk about it when I was doing the rundown for this. I'd love to watch it. Supposedly he was a real bodgy bloke.
Yeah.
Well, that has an inquest into it. It must be on there. I must have seen a reel from the inquest.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be on 60 Minutes again on Sunday.
really?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think it's probably come out because that documentary thing's come out. So 60 Minutes are doing another thing. It's probably similar to that, I guess. So yeah, if you want to watch that, get onto it.
I love a good backstory.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see all the dodgy shit he did. Remember that time? This will spin you out, Hayden. Remember that time, John? We nearly bought that submarine.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was.
we would have died. There was a submarine we found for sale on Marketplace. It was like
on a trailer and everything.
Yeah, it was like $1,500 or something.
No, I think it was a bit more than that. I think about $5,000 or something.
Yeah, but it might have been like $1,500 each between us and all our mates. And we were seriously considering buying this fucking submarine. And
straight down the boat ramp at Dargle.
Yeah, we would have launched her at Dargle and we would have died at Dargle just out of the boat ramp because we wouldn't know what the fuck we were doing.
That's what I forgot all about that.
Oh, we've nearly bought some weird shit. There was a plane. We nearly bought a fucking airplane.
Plane was on a that was on trailer too.
Yeah.
On Marketplace.
Yep. Fold up
that
wings
was cheap
and
as shit. That was like $1,000.
Yeah, I'd probably be more keen on the sub. The plane, at least in the sub, you can sort of get out and sort of float to the surface. But a plane, it's a bit hard to float to the surface when you're above it 10,000 feet or something.
The worst part
at least you can see where you are in a plane. You go in the water at fucking Dargle on the boat ramp. We would have just got backed in, turned right and went, where the fuck are we? And then crashed into a fucking post.
The worst part is we've got access to Dargle.
Yeah. A spot where we can do all this dumb shit.
Let's do this.
What was like the telling sign that we were going to die is we were buying it off fucking Facebook Marketplace for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know boats.
Yeah, not fucking submarines.
I'd still give it a go.
Anyway.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was fun. Yeah, right. Well, thanks for those. I wouldn't call it a question, I suppose. A bit of
couple of entries, boys.
Trivia information. That one. That was good. Had a couple of posts in the HSG Pit Crew page from Tommy Sawyer with the Isle of Man.
Get on that,
Sidecar.
Guys. Yeah, get on that. Have a look on the Pit Crew page. Tommy Sawyer's videos on the sidecars over at Isle of Man look wild.
You think like the Isle of Man on a motorbike is nuts?
Yeah,
they're like videos. It's like watching the MotoGP with like just rock walls beside you, no sand traps, and just like jumps and shit in the road.
It's
like
the jumps that get me.
road.
Well, they're not really jumps.
And then imagine doing that
hills.
shit.
It jumps when you're doing 200 mile an hour.
And then imagine doing that shit on a sidecar where you're not in control of nothing. You're just hanging the fuck on.
Shit. There's blokes hanging out behind the driver.
Jumping around.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, that's mental.
They obviously wouldn't be going as quick as the bikes, but still, fucking hell.
Yeah, I reckon they'd be sick.
I peek out
Sick
when I'm
to
not in
watch.
control of something at fucking 40 mile an hour, let alone.
Yeah, it'd be
Let alone
awesome to
something that
watch.
quick.
I couldn't be on there.
Remember the sidecar we built when we were kids at Dad's?
Yeah, welded to a push bike.
Built a frame off the side. It was me. Oh no, mate! Did I make the trailer out of that? I must have made the trailer out of that after all. We made the trailer.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah.
Either it was just welded frame to the side of it. Another tyre. No front wheel, so you turn a right hander real
Like
tight.
a three-wheeler and it just endo.
bite.
Yeah, it just go, and it was square at the front. So you you turn, and obviously because it lost its balance, the rear wheel come off the ground. So the dude riding the bike would probably crash
Spin forward.
himself because his feet would just freewheel, and the nose of the sidecar part would just jam into the road and then just spit everyone off.
I can't remember if I was stuck. Someone was stuck under it with because they're kneeling into it. So you're upside down, your knees are still stuck underneath it. You just can't move.
Yeah,
Just
that's
a
because
shit spot.
there was three of us. It was me, him, and his brother, and we all used to get in this fucking sidecar. So whoever was on the front of the sidecar, they'd end up fucked up the most because the person on the back would smack them on the way through and jam them into the fucking dirt.
Yeah, popped a tyre one time. We just cable tied plastic tube for the wheels.
Before we before we did the plastic tube, remember if someone told us?
Oh, we filled it with grass.
Said load it with grass, put shitloads of grass in the tyre, it'll just be like a hard tyre. I'm like, oh fuck yeah! So we
I've seen that on Bush Mechanics.
Yeah.
That's really good.
We started ripping the grass and that didn't work, so we just got like a bit of it's like water pipe
Yeah,
for your
it's
guard,
water
like
pipe. Drilled holes through
irrigation pipe,
it. Cable tied her on.
cable tie, and fuck it did some sick burn. I think because you could pedal like fucking and slip.
Just like putting PVC pipe on your
Go-kart
go-kart
wheels.
tyres,
Yeah.
We did heaps of shit like that at Dad's building.
Yeah. We did
Shed
some-
with a welder
Good
and
times.
whatever we had.
We did some dodgy shit when we were younger. We had access to all the kinds of power tools we needed, and we fucking used them.
Yeah. Remember when this is a big tangent, but remember Tukley?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
trolleys?
Yeah, you used to get shopping
Do you
trolleys.
remember
Yeah,
Tukley?
no,
Hayden?
me and shopping trolleys aren't good
Do you-
friends.
Do you remember
Yeah.
Tukley?
Did you ever go to Tukley when there was race meetings on there?
No. Oh, yeah, no, I did. We took the boat there a couple of times.
You know the big grass,
As
there's a
you're
big
driving in,
grass
there's a
hill
big grass
on the
hill.
Yes.
entrance.
Yep.
So
We
there was
run that in
always
the trolley.
shopping trolleys around. We used to hop in, like wheel the trolley up the top, jump in the shopping trolley, and just fang it down that hill and just crash for no reason.
Filled that with grass for padding.
Yeah. Like, oh, that hurts a bit. Let's put heaps of grass in there so it'll be a bit softer.
And
And
then
then
you're up higher. So you,
it takes you
Set
too
it
long to
down.
put the grass in, so you end up just winging it,
down.
going, oh, that'll do.
There's logs at the bottom too.
Yeah, on the other side
so
of
you
the
had a
fucking
good hard
driveway.
stop.
Fucking hell. Yeah. Anyways, that's a good tangent. That fucking hell. Jason Henny also posted in there with a stern drive turbocharged rotary engine.
Yeah, I haven't seen that video. There's
No, I
been
haven't
lots
watched
of
it.
posts in there last week.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, it's
Get it.
awesome.
get around it some more, guys.
Keep
it up, boys.
it up, guys. It's fucking sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for that.
Did anyone watch Jason's video?
I didn't. No, I've been
I
too
was-
busy.
I was looking at putting it on, and then I forgot, and then I remembered about it here. So I made sure that I put it on the run. So
But we still
it
didn't watch
reminded
it.
everyone.
That's bad form on our part.
well, it
big
is bad
part,
form,
isn't it?
but I've had a bit on, just
yeah,
memory wise. So I wanted to remember it, so I did actually get to watch it.
yeah. We've been talking about rotors a fair bit lately, so
Yeah, I'm just keen to see one in a race boat. So when Jason put that up,
I
I
just
was
wanna-
like,
I
oh
just
shit,
wanna
I want
hear
to
it.
see it. Yeah.
I just want to hear one in a race boat.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll get into meme of the week.
Meme of the week.
I've got mine here ready to go.
This quote is so important to me. Every person you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So be kind, always. And I know it's hard, but how we act externally is a reflection of what's really going on inside. And if we take time to get to know someone and what they're going through, a lot of things will start making sense. So let's have some grace towards other people this week and realize we're all fighting some sort of a battle.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you never know what someone else is going through, do you?
That's it.
They always say the happiest looking people are probably the most saddest.
Yep. Someone that's helping everyone always ends up downhill first.
Yep.
Don't know how to help themselves.
Yes.
Hayden got one?
Send it.
This is. Imagine in this day and age that a woman's finally worked out that she's a lesbian and the first Sheila she hooks up with has got a dick. Imagine in this day and age that a woman's finally...
That's a bit like one.
Sorry, I probably should have said not safe for work or something like that.
That's like one I seen the other day. It said, you know, remember back in the day when you used to have to wait 9 months to find out whether your baby was a boy or a girl?
Yeah, see, now you got to wait 25 years.
And then they still might change their mind.
I didn't see that one the other day.
All right, I'll play mine. Let me just get to it. Here we go.
A woman has triplets, Tim, Tom, and Tat. And afterwards she goes to breastfeed them. And she realises at the end, because Tim and Tom are both on a bosom each, that there's no tit for tat.
Short and simple.
Oh, that's fucking good.
Ripper.
I've got to compose myself now. Fuck. Two good ones. Fuck. Yeah. All right. I hope you like this episode. If you got any questions, send them in to the High Speed Garage Podcast at gmail.com via a voice recording app. If you can't work out how to do that through the email, send it to us on Messenger and they come through.
Aliens.
Make sure you have a listen to Stewie's interview through the week. It was really good.
Yeah, check that out.
Yeah.
That was a lot better than I remembered it. But anyway.
I forgot about the Booker shots at the end. That was funny.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, I didn't because I remember being a little bitch not having it.
So yeah, don't forget to follow us on socials, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot. Get into the HSG pit crew to have a bit of a chat, send some stuff in, get some ideas on anything. You can even post in there if you want us to bring something up too. Everyone else can have a chat around it as well. And yeah. All right. Call it a night, eh?
Have a good weekend, guys.
It was a good day.
Catch us later.
Bye.